Now, let's talk insecure. Okay, today was the big block party episode, and I got together with my girls, the mommies. Happy Mother's Day, ladies.
Thank
Season
you.
and
Thank you.
they're so amazing to carve time out of their super busy schedules to talk about it. So, ladies, let's talk about it. What do you think about this episode? Season, thumbs up or thumbs down?
I give it a thumbs up for sure.
Okay, Shayla, what about you?
I'm kind of in the middle.
I'm with you. I'm like right here. I love that we finally got to the block party and that it was a success. But I was like, I blinked and it was halfway over, and I'm like, wait a minute, we haven't like accomplished anything. We haven't covered anything. It just seemed like a lot of filler, and then like such a small amount of time dedicated to anything of like really moving the plot forward. So let's start from, what do we want to start with first? Okay, let's start with the block party, right? So I'm gonna get back to Ghost Bay in a minute, but I want to start with the block party. The block party looks super dope, right? I mean, Season, you're in Atlanta now. I'm in the DMV, but we're Cali girls. And so I loved seeing all the Inglewood stuff, the Randy's Donuts, the Simply Wholesome, which isn't exactly Inglewood, but you know, it's Black LA. So I love
Market Street.
Yes, Market
We
Street.
used to catch the bus on Market Street to get home.
I know.
Ooh, crazy.
But it was definitely more Iwood versus Inglewood vibes. So like Issa's like, where are the black people at? And you know, black people be on CP time jail, but all the white folks was there early. And I did think that whole they think this is a farmer's market comment was hilarious. But anyway, so we get to the block party. This is what Issa has been working on for months. She has an intern. She seems like she has her shit together, right? She had extra tables. She knew where people were supposed to go. She was thinking on the fly, like, okay, Issa. And then we see Condola, that bitch. Now her ass want to pop up with her big ass crown braids. She was looking cute, like she always is. She come correct with the hair and the style. But where the fuck she been at, Season?
I mean,
thoughts on Condola popping up?
I think that I like Condola. I don't like Condola, but I think that her relationship with Condola has been one of the more realistic ones on the show this season. You understand how they came to meet, how they wanted to work together, and they both had this vision, but then things just got in the way because they both fucked the same dude. I mean, why wouldn't that have broke down? And it was bound to happen. So, but I think it was nice of her to show up, and I get it. I understand that whole storyline. So I at least it's just something I understand in the show. I get it.
Shayla, what do you think about Condola's ghosting and popping up?
Season, I feel like, I do get that too, because that is very awkward. However, I felt it to be a little petty and a little unprofessional because they had talked that out. They had cleared that air. And then for her to ghost her like that with no explanation, that just didn't align with anything that they had done previously. So I just found that to be a little on the petty side.
Yeah, I agree with you, Shayla. I think it was very petty and unprofessional. At the end of the day, it was all good that Condola was fucking with Issa's ex when she was the girl that got the guy. Okay, and she could key and be all cute, like, oh hey, you're here, and she was all happy and stuff, getting her little boo loving on at the coffee shop, and Issa was running out the door. But then when come to find out that Lawrence still has feelings, which what he's doing, I don't know what the hell he's doing with it. But apparently he still has some kind of soft spot for Issa. Then all of a sudden, Condola's energy has changed. I thought that Lawrence was supposed to be the fun boy, according to her drunk friend, and she wasn't really looking for anything seriously. So it definitely, I agree with you, Shayla, in terms of what we came to know about Condola's character, it was way left field. But Season, to your point, yeah, it's probably going to be a messy situation. I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna get complicated when you have a same guy in common, even though that's a super LA thing to do. And as much as I hate to kind of give Molly credit, because I think in that moment Molly was hating, but she did kind of warn Issa that it would get messy and that it was just a not cool situation. So Molly's discernment in that case was on point, except that I think it was more jealousy than discernment. Caesar, you're shaking your head.
I mean, I got a friend like Molly who always suspicious of the new bitch. So that I wouldn't even pay no mind to that.
Okay. Yeah, so discernment is probably not the right word because Molly was just being a hater.
Yeah,
okay, so Condola came. She did the bare minimum with the intern. She still was Salt Lake City. She had a funky ass little lip turned up the whole time. Congratulations, all dry and shit. So bye, Condola. That's why we never really was rooting for you in Lawrence anyway. So okay, now what else did we have? We saw a Tiffany pop up, her and her husband. What happened there? I kind of missed that little part. Was there a little friction going on with those two or what?
No, she just didn't want to be bothered with that baby. I mean, okay. And they really, and again, for me, they missed the opportunity to go into whatever postpartum issues Tiffany is dealing with. That really, they missed such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like they barely scratched the surface. To anyone else, I feel like it would come off as Tiffany being very insensitive about her newborn and not wanting to go home. But as a mother of two with a newborn, I definitely got postpartum vibes from her as far as like what she's dealing with and just kind of managing being a new mom and also being a friend and wanting to be social.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like she comes off very dismissive, but to me, I saw avoidance. Like she just is like, I need to be free. This is too much. Let me get lit. Let me listen to some music. Damn, I'm always with that baby. Like, so it was just a miss. But like all their side characters, they don't do a good job dealing with them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like Amanda Seales as an actress and the Tiffany character can do so much more than what she's given. I mean, she's just like presented as like super vapid, like into herself, and that's really it. And I think that her plotline, I mean, you had her fucking pregnant for 2 seasons or 2.5 seasons, so why not do a little bit more in exploring what her life is like now with the baby? So, so we
I feel like they also.
Oh, go ahead.
They also they give a lot from the father's perspective, I noticed. And so sorry. Speaking of moms, okay, give me a hug real quick. So I felt like they did it more from a father's perspective than they should have. Okay, go on with daddy. So sorry.
No, it's cool. It's Mother's Day.
I should have locked that door.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and even like Tiffany's comment, right? Like, he's the great father. Like, it was kind of like, yeah, right? So, yeah, I think that with Tiffany and Kelly, I think my complaint every time is going to be that they could do so much more with them, and they just, for some reason, choose not to. I feel like, what's the neighbor? She gets more airtime than Kelly does some episodes of Tiffany.
They literally show us the same scene in different clothes with Issa and Molly, but they can't give us more of Kelly and Tiffany. Come on now. It's just it's poor. It's at this point it's poor vision. They just can't get over that hump and figure out how to incorporate other characters.
Right. Okay. So Issa and Molly are like the big overarching, tension throughout the episode. So I'm not going to get to the big blowout part first. Let's talk about some of their micro exchanges, right? Molly, kind of acting like she didn't want to go, but Andrew kind of calling her punk card, like, well, then let's not go. And she's like, no, we're going to go. Then we finally find out that exchange in terms of, at the first episode, she says, I'm not really fucking with Molly like that. So we find out she's talking to Ghost Bay. So Ghost Bay is back. Nathan is back. So the episode kind of opens up. I don't know if Issa is just simply like super lonely. She's been abandoned by Molly. She's been abandoned by Condola. Or if she's just super nervous, but she finds her way in Ghostface DMs and on the phone. And interestingly enough, he is at her beck and call to answer. What do you guys think about the resurfacing of Ghostface? Is this like a welcome development or just a crutch for the plot?
I think it's a crutch. I mean, clearly we know Lawrence is going to be in and out the picture. So I think this is just a crutch, a filler, something that may come down to those two or something. But I don't get desperation from Issa at all. I mean, she spent the first 2 episodes getting her black back blown out by the TSA dude. So Issa ain't hurting for no interaction. She's not hurting for that. What how I look at her relationship with Ghostface, even though I really don't know much of their past other than the Coachella episode, but she's in an industry where she has to keep those connects. And if she is sometimes, you know, she may sleep with 1 or 2, but like I just don't get desperation from her. I mean, it may have been desperate for her to reach out to him to get to Andrew. Now that was a shot in the dark, and it worked out in her favor. But just being friendly or keeping that door open, I don't get desperation tease. I think that's normal for, you know, in terms of dating.
Shay, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that she was being opportunistic as far as reaching out to him. She had a need that she needed to fill, and she knew that he was her connect when she tried to go through Molly and it didn't work out. So I think that when she's still, I think she's leaving that door cracked though, like where she's, you know, welcoming conversations, but she's also just keeping him at a distance because, you know, she knows what he's capable of and how he hurt her the last time.
That's true. And I mean, at the end of the episode, if I'm skipping around chronology, she did decline to have him kind of stick around, where the older Issa probably would have been like, hell yeah, I'm about to definitely, like, you know, be distracted or or kind of, you know, kind of go that direction. So I thought, I don't know, like, I'm kind of torn between, like, is this a regression or is this progression? I'm not sure. But I mean, yeah, when you were trying to put on a block party, it's your life's work, I guess. Then you use every kind of networking opportunity that you have. What's the point of having some notches on your belt if you can't call them up every now and again and be like, hey, how you doing?
Right.
Can you do me a favor? Like, I mean, he owes her that much. So I don't have a problem with her calling up on that favor. I mean, Daniel is another person she could have called up, but I guess the contract wasn't for Elon this time, so goes back, gets to resurface. All right, so let's talk about before I get to Issa and Molly. The block party was a huge success, right? Or I don't know, did we call it a huge success or not? What do you guys think?
Yeah, it looked lit. I would have went
Definitely.
to something like that. I would have had fun at something like that, especially in VIP.
Sure.
That VIP was like top notch. Okay.
Yeah.
I would definitely love to go to an Issa D production, okay? Especially in Inglewood. It was a little gentrified at first. I thought the whole farmers market thing was hilarious, but it was lit. It was definitely lit. But again, I think some of the exchanges could have been more so on Kelly and Tiffany versus like the guy who's like, what is he, a Crip or a Blood or whatever the fuck, and him making up names, and then the neighbor like, do we really need that? But whatever. But let's talk about Issa and Molly. Okay.
And the assistant with her nosebleed.
That was so random.
That was weird. So weird.
Is that where she's on like discount because her nose bleeds randomly? Like, what the fuck was that?
I don't know. But it was like the nosebleed. That was an awkward Black girl moment for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm bitch, don't bring me no water, no gummy bears. Go take care of that. Go take care of that. But I thought it was funny. But they said you should go to the hospital. She's like, I don't have health care. I thought that was funny. I mean, it's not funny because it's like fucked up, but it's like, I was like, okay. All right. So Issa and Molly. All right. The first attention I want to talk about is the whole, okay, it was like, why wouldn't I be? I'm your best friend. Like, that was weird, right? Like, when Issa was like, why? Oh, I'm surprised you're here. Like, and then, but I will say though, when Molly brought Issa the food, I thought that was a nice gesture. What did you guys think about that?
Yeah.
It was awkward as fuck. Like, why did Molly just stand there like, oh, it was like she was waiting for Issa to say something profound and apologetic. It was just, I'm not here for Molly, so skip me.
Okay,
Skip
Shay,
me.
what
I
do you
just think,
think?
I think that it
what y'all
was
was
her
doing.
way. I think it was her way of like offering like a peace offering to her, but it was just really bad timing, and it was just another way of her like making it about her and not just letting Issa have her night and thrive in her success of this block party.
Yeah, I think that, like, I mean, I thought it was interesting that the only person that I mean, well, Condola kind of said, like, oh, you did a great job. And then Nathan also said that. But like that would have been a moment for Molly to really extend that olive branch. Like it's a nonverbal peace offering, but that moment kind of called for something more. But Molly seems to be so like in her head in terms of like feeling aggrieved by Issa for some reason that she didn't rise to that occasion. And so I thought that was a missed opportunity. But then we get to the wobble, and it seems like they
But
had a
wait, before you get to that,
yeah.
before you get to the wobble, Molly real feelings came out. So after hearing what she really said, an apology at the peace offering wouldn't have been genuine.
Right,
How she really feel about Issa came out. It came on
right,
out.
right, right,
So
right.
I'm glad, I mean, anything she said at that point would not have been genuine.
So I think that basically, like, to me, I still feel like this is super fucking petty. But it's clear that like the small gestures, the giving the person, giving Issa like the plate, like how she saved, what was it, the pie or something for Thanksgiving, and Issa kind of flaked out on her, or even the wobble where they have that sister girl moment. It's like all like, oh, remember the good times? Like obviously that wasn't gonna cut it because then we get to the big blow up. Now, before we get to what was said, I just want to know from you guys, what do you think about Issa going through Nate to Andrew? What are your thoughts on that? Was Issa in the wrong there, or did she just do what she had to do? Shayla, you start off.
I think she did what she did.
Okay, Caesar, you start off.
I'm sorry. I think Issa did what she had to do. I wouldn't have let my friend hang in like that. And if that was the decision I made, then I would have had to have been crystal clear. Like, I'm not going to ask him to help you because I don't want him to help you. You figure this
Right,
out. You get out of the
right,
toe. But
right.
leading up to that, Molly didn't understand what happened in the first place. So she just made a fucked up decision from jump without even based off Issa's history or how she really feels about Issa. So do I think Issa was wrong? No. Everybody knew this is her big moment, and she knew, like, she's in a profession where you use connections. That's a connection.
Absolutely. Shayla, what do you think?
I agree. I think that we also need to remember that, they met him through Ghost Bay, and that was really on Issa. So I don't really feel like she needed to ask permission, or not even go to him, or use another way to go to him. She tried, and Molly didn't want to help her, so she found another avenue, and that was totally fine.
I agree with both of you. I mean, first of all, let me just rewind it to how many times has Molly completely sabotaged and overstepped and gotten in motherfucking Issa's business, whether it's talking to Lawrence or talking to Ghost Bay and kind of running interference, which you didn't need to run interference for. And so I think it's really hypocritical for all of the times that she's gotten involved in something that she wasn't asked to get involved with to really throw a big fit about it. But Season, like you said, she said, I don't want to ask. That's not the same thing as saying I don't want my boyfriend involved whatsoever. I understand if you're like, look, I don't want to be the person to ask, but do what you got to do. You know, now she might have felt like that was implied, but I don't think that that's implied from that. You know, at the end of the day, it was a simple email that Andrew had to send. It wasn't like Andrew was or what's his name, Andrew, right? He wasn't co-signing on the fucking loan. He wasn't underwriting the block party. All he had to do was just say, hey, how you doing? This person knows that person. Vince acted all funky towards goddamn anyway, so it wasn't like they were all buddy.
Right, and when she found out it was a simple email, she should have felt like an asshole. Because she saw what Vince meant for that event. And to know it was a mere email that got him there, I would have felt bad. I would have felt like, I would have been like, I really should have did that for my friend. But instead, she go pop off and cuss her out, and they almost come to blows. Like, girl,
that was
she
crazy.
Just made it all about her. Like, it was just clearly just a selfish move of just what their friendship, not the bigger picture of like what it meant for Issa to do something big and to accomplish something.
Do you think that Molly wants to see Issa win, or is it that Molly likes being the successful one and Issa, as much as she wanted to throw it in Issa's face that Issa is a fuck up, maybe Molly likes it that way?
Yeah, I think that she likes it that way. I think that is comfortable because she doesn't view Issa as a threat. And she can always just kind of use that, like hold that over her head, that she's more successful, that she's better.
And okay, are we on the argument yet?
Yeah, let's talk about the argument.
Okay, what was the comment? You always need a favor. Like, did I miss something? I mean, to me, all I've seen them do on this show is kick it. It ain't like Molly had to give Issa a place to stay, pay her rent.
And Issa specifically declined to stay with
Molly. So
offered, and Issa was sleeping on Daniel's couch.
Right. So Molly definitely has this this inflated sense of like, you would be nothing without me. You will always need me. That's fucked up. Like she has a very clear superiority complex over her. She thinks she just flat out, like, maybe they met at a different time in their lives, but she obviously feels like she's outgrown this girl. She's better than this girl. And if she would just listen to everything that she says, Issa life would be perfect. Like her tolerance level for Issa is gone. Her respect for Issa is gone. And she started to feel bad about it, but that was only because her nigga says that's only because her boyfriend had said something to her about it. And I knew that was going to have said it last week. Andrew going to be the one to call her out and put some sense into her head. Who don't know a bitch like that? They listen to everything they man say or they homeboy say, but to they girls, they just cutthroat. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Shayla, what do you think? What do you think was like the most out of pocket? I mean, if I had to say who do I think was more accurate in their digs, I would say that Issa kind of had Molly's card like 100% pulled. Molly, I felt like she was off base. What do you think?
To be honest, I don't remember what they're even arguing about to begin with, or like where the disconnect is, but I do agree with Season in that I think that they just met each other at a different time and they're on different life paths. And sometimes you may try to force a friendship based on the time that you've known someone versus what you have in common and what your common goals are. And I feel like a lot of their relationship this season has been really forced, but they are just growing apart.
Yeah.
Point blank.
I mean, I don't feel like Issa is a user. I don't feel like she is always asking for a favor. I feel like Issa probably struggles more than anybody else on the show because she's just trying to figure it out. I mean, she was driving fucking Lyft. She's like her apartment manager. She had a shitty job. Like she was sleeping on somebody's couch. Like if anybody is like trying to figure the shit out, it's goddamn Issa D. All right. So I totally feel like Issa has had it a lot rougher. I mean, she had like a traumatic breakup, and Molly, her stuff is all self-inflicted. I mean, she was a complete bitch and undercut her coworker. You know, she blows off her boyfriend depending on when she's available or not available. And so I feel like Molly she makes her own problems, and I feel like Issa does as well. I'm not saying that she's innocent or anything like that, but I just don't get that from Issa that she's a user. You know, I think she's a pushover, to be honest with you. But yeah, but you know what's weird? I'm gonna say what's really weird to me is the kind of like, I don't know, like Kelly and Tiffany, like obviously they have not developed their characters sufficiently, but how come they don't have more to contribute to the conversation? Like even the preview had Kelly like, what happened? Like, you guys don't see what's happening.
I'm saying. This shit is not, I don't understand. It's not realistic to me. It's 4 girls. Yeah. They're all supposed to be cool, but everybody knows Issa and Molly are besties. How don't nobody else know what's going on? And confused.
I felt like that was more so of them trying not to get involved and take sides, and they're just like, "Ooh, girl, you know how she is. Oh, you know how she is." You know, like they weren't trying to really take sides, but just kind of just like hope it smooths over a little bit. Yeah,
like,
I didn't.
I think we can agree that like the blow up at Issa's block party was totally fucking unnecessary and like completely narcissistic of
mean.
Yeah, it was very mean girl. It was very mean girl.
It was very selfish of her to do that, especially at the end of the night. It could have been like, girl, let's have brunch tomorrow, and they could have brought it up. But that's just Molly making it about her again.
Yeah, I mean, like, with friends like Molly, you don't really need goddamn enemies, right? Because she was just, I felt like
it was almost like she was rooting for her to fail a little bit.
I agree.
She had this anger there that I just don't know where it came from. She was like mad, and for me, it was like maybe she thinks somehow Issa is gonna fuck up her relationship with her boyfriend,
but she created more of an issue by making it an issue or something that wasn't an issue. Like Andrew was like, oh, no big deal. So as soon as her boyfriend was like, oh, this isn't a big deal, and that's where it should have ended. Like she could have had a conversation like, you know what? I didn't communicate this to you, and maybe I wasn't clear when I communicated this to Issa, but I'd really rather not like have you guys have any interaction, because like if she could have just been like, Issa's messy to me, like I love her, she's my best friend, but I just think for the sake of our relationship, like I would rather you not be involved with her. And that would have been like, that could have really literally been that. It didn't have to be a blow up. And the same, she could have the same conversation with Issa, like, well, I wasn't clear, but like I'm not just saying, I'm not asking you, I'm saying don't ask my man, like whatever, you know? I don't know. So I think that what we have is just a fucking deterioration of a friendship that obviously wasn't that strong, because if you're not rooting for your friend, then you're not really friends, right? If you can't set your own personal, I feel like Issa set her personal feelings aside by trying to play nice with Molly, because she could have been like, bitch, I don't want you here, I don't fuck with you like that, like your energy is bringing me down. But she just sat up there and kind of sucked it up or whatever. And then Molly, though, she really felt like she had to go out of her way to ruin that moment. I don't know if I'm rooting for them to be friends. What about you? Are you guys seasoned? Do you think that Molly and Issa, I mean, for the sake of the show, it's been renewed for season 5, right? So I don't want to see like Molly and Issa are not friends for 10 episodes, but like, so maybe okay, so let me rephrase. I want them to get back together. I want them to smooth it over in one episode, and then we can move on to something else. But what do you think? Like, I mean, if realistically in real life, they would not be friends anymore after this, right?
Right. I don't think that they would be friends.
Oh, they totally would. Come on now.
You said they would, season? So Shayla, you said they wouldn't.
I think they would. Bitches fight all the time. Like,
you know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So do I think they're gonna work it out? I mean, they may drag it out for another season or for the rest of the season, But I do think they're gonna work it out. They're the only fucking characters with any kind of storyline. What is gonna happen to Insecure if they don't be friends no more? Then it's just gonna be scenes with what's her name? Molly and the other girls. And then I think they're gonna work it out. I don't think that I think Molly needs to have like Issa said, Molly needs to figure her own shit out, stop taking shit out on Issa, and like get to the bottom of why she's so miserable, and then take it from there. But I don't see their friendship ending over this. Because like Shayla said, why the fuck are they even arguing? I still don't know what happened.
I don't know either. Shayla, what do you think?
So for the sake of the show, they will kiss and make up, and then they'll probably, have, this will always be like their speed bump that they go over. There's always going to be some sort of like awkwardness or issue with them, because we've seen it, season after season of them like having it out.
That's true.
Before, I think it was the second season with the Malibu Drive and all of that. So, but in real life, like, this was Issa's baby. Yeah. And to have it be like come to that, and she's riding that high horse, it would be over for me. I'm sorry. It's like, bitch, you're not for me. Like, we can't be friends. So in real life, I would say if that was a person in my life, we could no longer. But for the show, they'll probably make up.
I'm gonna go with can't. It ain't nothing to cut that bitch off. Like, she'd have been cut. Ex, bitch, you dead to me. I ain't got nothing for you. Don't ever call my line ever again. But I thought it was interesting though, in the preview it said that like, Issa and her mirror alter ego talking to each other, and she's like, oh, she needs to reach out to you, because it was almost like Issa's alter ego and Issa, whoever the fuck, felt like Issa has something to apologize for. I don't feel like Issa has anything to apologize for. Like, I don't see where Issa did anything wrong. So I think I'm gonna wrap up this discussion, but one thing I will say that was glaringly missing was Lawrence. Why was Lawrence not around in this episode? I mean, it's Issa's big thing. Yes, he broke up with Condola, and him and Issa aren't a thing, but don't you think that like that would be something that Lawrence would have at least shown up to show support for? Or Season, you don't think so? You guys don't think so? Okay, I'm in the minority here. No? Okay.
Lawrence worried about keeping his job. Weren't they talking about layoffs and whatchamacallits pulling out, investors pulling out? He's trying to make sure he got a job first
so
off.
It's on brand then. You guys think it's on brand for Lawrence to like not support Issa?
Right. I think because for me, I think that he was gonna tell her that he was breaking up with that him and Condola broke up or whatever, but he changed his mind because she got that phone call. So I think he just has determined that now is not a good time to be, fucking with Issa or bringing up old shit. So I think that's why he wasn't there, because he just knew Lawrence know he ain't gonna be nothing but a distraction right now. So I think it's best that he didn't come.
I also think that he probably would feel responsible for what's her name? I can never get her name right. Condola, for her ghosting Issa, because obviously because they broke up. So I felt like he stayed away from a guilty conscience because he knew he was responsible for her disappearing.
So we just the final comments. We know that we've made it through the halfway mark, or maybe slightly more than the halfway mark. I don't know if it's 10 episodes or 8 episodes. And the first episode, the preview that we saw, or the next episode, says what's next. What do you all want to see in the second half of the season for Issa or for any of the characters? Shayla, I'll start with you.
I definitely want to see a positive rehash of the block party. I want that to open up, an opportunity for Issa, because she doesn't have a job. She's just managing the apartment. So hopefully that opens up a door for her. I'd also love to see more development. I hope that this rift between her and Molly will open up the door for us to see more character development from the other two friends as well.
Yeah, that would be nice. Season?
I agree with Shayla. I hope she's able to turn this into a more permanent gig, get her name out there. I hope she doesn't get too much backlash because of, the riot at the end or whatever, or the stampede at the end. I hope that doesn't overshadow her event. So yeah, I hope something good comes out of this for Issa for sure. Um, it's clear her friends were totally oblivious up until now, but it's clear everybody gonna have an opinion about Issa and Molly becoming friends again. And I want to see Molly actually understand what she did. I hope to see some kind of decency from her, because it was there for a second at the block party. But I hope to see some kind of decency come out of that, out of some kind of decent human decency out of Molly, and her relationship with Andrew is cute.
Yeah.
But I still want to see more of Kelly. More of Kelly. I don't think they're gonna do what they're supposed to do with Tiffany. So I'm just gonna stop asking for that. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And I guess I said last week I'm indifferent about Issa and Lawrence, but he gonna pop up.
Yeah, it's inevitable. Yeah, I really hate that Issa was robbed of that triumphant moment. I mean, like, it was there, like, you did a great job. This was really wonderful. And I like that the intern was like, hey, day after recap or whatever. She was all hyped about it. But I do feel like Issa was robbed of that moment between, like, her getting on the stage and having the speech, and they're like, Vince, Vince, Vince. So I was like, girl, poor thing. She just wanted to have her moment. She couldn't even have her moment. And then the whole blow up with Kelly, with Molly. And then, afterwards, she's like avoiding phone calls and she's moping around and she doesn't know what's next. And I'm like, oh, it's super on brand, right, for awkward Black girl and insecure, but I wanted that. This is like all that she's had going for herself in all of the seasons, 4 seasons now. So I wanted her to at least have some kind of triumphant moment that was like a clear-cut win. So I want her to have that. I want her to get to that moment like she said, what did she say? Relax, release, or whatever the fuck it was. So I want her to have that moment. And I wish that it was a cleaner moment in terms of like everything in her life going okay. I want Molly to realize, like, I fucked up. I don't see that in the cards for Molly. I want Kelly to be more developed. I don't see that in the cards for her. I want Tiffany to be more developed. I don't see that in the cards for her. So I'm just going to watch every week and just take it for what it is. It's a funny show. It has some stuff going for it that I think that, like, it inches forward in terms of the plot. But I said it, I'm going to probably say it every time. I want to see Black women win. I want to see Black women supporting each other. You guys saw last night, or I should say Saturday, depending on what people were saying. It was Saturday night, May 9th. Erykah Badu versus Jill Scott and that love fest. And it was Black women supporting a Black woman and Black women cheering on Black women. And I just love that. And I'm like, can we have that? A little bit of that in Insecure? The one thing we had with Girlfriends and these other Black woman shows was your girlfriends were your, like, and in real life, right? As girlfriends, like, we are each other's, like, rocks. We're married and, you both have kids. So obviously your husbands are as well. But I'm just saying in the sense of, like, if if you have a show about Black women, by Black women, for Black women, then that friendship, that foundation should be strong. It should not be like the part where it's like, this is fucked up and you don't have nothing else to balance it out, so I hope that we get back season. What was that face for?
Yeah, it just don't make for good TV.
I don't know.
I think I'll say it again. I don't think they losing like that,
No, they're not losing. But they're not.
Yeah, I think they all in some good spaces. Okay, I'll take that. I ain't gonna say they all in good spaces, but I think tonight was a clear-cut win for Issa. Even though Molly tried to throw her little salt on the game at the end, Issa won tonight, period.
But did she feel like she won? I don't think that Issa felt that win the way that I would have liked to. It has been a culmination of a half a season, and really the second half of season 4 or 3, and then the all this season 4. Did she get that triumphant win? You think she did? Like she felt it? You felt like she felt it?
No, I don't think so.
No, but we also know that Issa don't have a lot of emotions. So I think in the end, when the rain started, that was pretty much how Issa was feeling, like, oh. But then
depressing.
Then she might have been relieved that it didn't happen during her thing. I don't know. Girl,
I didn't interpret it that way. I did not interpret that rain at the end as like, oh, thank God it waited to the end. I interpreted it like, this is fucked up. Like, this is a complete shit show. That's how I interpret it as.
Okay.
But you know, it's different interpretations, shit. That's why I have. It's not just me doing it. It's 3 of us tonight. So yeah, I think I'm going to end it on that note. I thank you, ladies, for joining me again. Happy Mother's Day. You are two of my favorite mommies out there. I want to grow up and be just like you, even older than both of y'all. But it's okay. I'm gonna grow up one day and be like y'all. But anyway, I guess we'll have to see what happens next week, and maybe you'll join me next week, or maybe not. If you're too busy, that's fine. We'll have somebody, or it'll just be me talking shit like it always is. But thank you, ladies, and thank y'all for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.